It's been years since that night, but I still can't shake it. I've told people bits and pieces, but never the full story. They wouldn't believe me anyway. The truth is, I used to laugh at the idea of monsters, of things lurking in the dark. But what happened out there in the woods changed everything. This happened when I was about 20. It was just me and my best friend. Two cocky kids who thought we could handle the weekend alone in the wild. We just wanted peace, some freedom, fire under the stars. What we got was something I wish I could forget. We drove out far, way past the last town, into the kind of countryside where trees lean over the road like they're just swallowing it. By the time we found the trailhead, the sun was already starting to get low. We hiked until dusk, set up camp in a small clearing and got the fire going. It felt perfect, just wasn't the crackle of wood and a sky full of stars. It was quiet, peaceful, just a heavy silence that seemed to stretch on forever. It was close to midnight when I first heard something. It was my name, spoken clear, calm, just off into the tree line. I thought at first it was a trick, till my friend turned pale, because he didn't hear my name. It was his. We both just froze, staring into the trees, waiting for somebody to step out, but nobody did. Then it called again. Both our names this time, one after the other, stretched out, slow, like it was enjoying the sound. I cupped my hands and shouted hello. There was a long pause and nothing. Then it answered back. It wasn't an echo. Not my own voice. It was something else. We tried to laugh it off at first. Act tough. Probably just some kids messing with us. That's what my friend said anyway. But his voice cracked in the way that told me he didn't believe it. As the fire died down, we just kind of sat there in the soft glow. But as soon as the flames dropped to embers, the woods just seemed to swallow us whole. Then the noises started again. Not all at once. First just a twig snapping behind us, then the faint crunch of leaves somewhere to the left. Then far off, a shuffle, almost like footsteps just circling us slowly. It kept moving, always just outside of the glow of what was left of the fire. I whispered to my friend maybe it was just an animal. But animals don't call your name. We finally crawled into the tent, hoping the thin fabric would somehow protect us. For a few minutes it was silent except for our own breathing. My friend's breaths were quick, shaky, like he was trying not to cry. I wasn't much different myself. Then came the scratching. It was soft at first, just nails dragging across the fabric. It started at the back of the tent, sliding slow and deliberate, then moving around to the side. It was all around us, like it was testing the walls. We just held our breath, listening, following the sound as it circled. And then it just stopped. It was dead quiet. It just stopped. For a second I thought maybe it was gone. Then you hear it again. My name. Right at the edge of the tent. Whispered so close I felt the vibration in my chest. I snapped my head towards the sound, waiting for the fabric to tear, but nothing came through. It was just silence again. The silence was worse than the scratching, because now we couldn't tell where it was. Minutes felt like hours. The wind picked up, just carrying faint sounds through the trees, low groans, almost like words. At one point something heavy brushed the side of the tent, made it sag inwards. My friend grabbed my arm so tight I thought he'd leave bruises. And then just as quickly as it started, it faded away. There was no scratching, no footsteps, no voice, just silence. We didn't move. We didn't speak. We just sat there in the suffocating dark, straining to hear anything beyond the blood pumping in our own ears. Sometime past midnight. Could have been 1. Hell, it could have been 3. The silence broke. There was a thud, then another, then another. Like footsteps, slow, heavy, right outside. The fire had burned low. It only cast faint glows through the tent walls, but it was enough. A shape passed between us and the dying embers. It was tall, too tall, just shoulders haunched, arms dangling low, almost grazing the ground. Its head was tilted at an angle. It stopped. It just stood there, its outline stretching across the tent wall. I didn't breathe. Then my hand pressed the fabric. Thin fingers bending awkwardly. He pressed it hard into the nylon. It dragged slowly to the side, leaving a long crease. We braced for it to tear, but it didn't. Instead, it just stayed there, still as stone, what felt like forever. I could hear it breathing, just wet, laboured, almost animal-like, right against the thin barrier between us. Finally, the hand just slid away and the shadow withdrew. And there was just silence again. We lay there until the first grey light of dawn appeared to seep through the tent wall. Obviously, neither of us slept. Neither of us even spoke. We unzipped the flap, and the clearing was empty. There was no prints, no broken branches. It was like nothing had ever happened. But I know what I saw. I know what I heard, and I've never gone back there since. For a while, I tried not to think about that night. I told myself it was just exhaustion, but I knew better. I just couldn't shake the feeling of what happened that night. It was months later. I got back home from work, and one restless night, I just started researching. I typed in all the things that I could remember. Tall, gaunt figure, too fast, too quiet, whispering my name, pressing and circling the tent. It didn't take long to come back with some answers. The Wendigo. The legends go back hundreds of years, from stories told by Algonquin-speaking tribes. They say the Wendigo is a creature born from greed and hunger. Once a human, but twisted by cannibalism into something inhuman. Tall, emaciated, a hunger that can never be satisfied. It was what just made my blood run cold. They don't just hunt their prey, they confuse it, they isolate it, they play with it, wear it down, feed on the fear before they strike. Felt like exactly what happened to us. That's why the scratches never tore through the tent, why the shadow never broke in, why it circled and whispered instead of attacking outright. It wasn't trying to take us that night, it was trying to break us. And the worst part, every account I read said the same thing, that once you've seen one, it remembers you, it waits. That's why I'll never go back. I'll never go back out there, and I'll never look into the dark the same again. Neither should you.